The global population surge has transformed the megacity from a promise of progress into a massive, reinforced cage. We are crossing the threshold where modern convenience ends and systematic inhumanity begins. Behind every glass facade lies a cold reality. The architecture of the future is the prison of the present. Number 1. The Mir Mine Abyss. In the frozen silence of Siberia, the Mir Mine remains an open scar, a 1,200-meter-wide abyss once fueled by Soviet diamond obsession. This reinforced void is a forbidden zone where gravity reportedly malfunctions, claiming helicopters. By 2024 to 2026, the operation has shifted to a chilling phase, the deployment of AI-driven robots into sections too lethal for humans. While officials cite safety, the transition to a machine-only underground raises a darker question. As silicon mines descend into the crushing depths, we wonder if they are seeking wealth or retrieving something buried beneath the permafrost that the world was never meant to see. Number 2. The Kudrovo Human Anthill. Witness the ultimate experiment in urban density, Kudrovo. This monolithic containment system compresses thousands into a single, reinforced block. By 2026, efficiency has become a psychological trap. Residents now endure a 20-minute struggle just to exit the building, paralyzed by elevator congestion and parking gridlocks. We see the erasure of individuality within these gray corridors. As the system reaches its breaking point, one must wonder, was Kudrovo designed for living or as a silent study on human endurance under total isolation? Number 3. Copy-paste suburban sprawl. The American dream has mutated into a geometric nightmare. Across the Texas suburbs, we find a massive grid of reinforced repetition. These are the ultimate liminal spaces, miles of identical facades where direction loses meaning. To a stranger, this is a disorientation trap, not a neighborhood. By 2026, evidence suggests this architectural uncanny valley triggers deep-seated unease. We are observing the psychological toll of such sterile environments. Perhaps this isn't just sprawl, but a deliberate design to enforce social predictability through spatial confusion. Number 4. The eternal traffic loop. The concrete belt is a deceptive trap. In the massive arteries of Beijing and Los Angeles, we witness the induced demand paradox in its purest form. Adding lanes does not dissolve gridlock. It invites it. This reinforced illusion of progress lures more vehicles into the maze, suffocating the urban pulse. We observe a cycle of perpetual expansion that never reaches a cure. Perhaps the infrastructure isn't failing. Perhaps it is functioning exactly as intended, a permanent cage of steel and smog designed to keep the population in stasis. Number 5. Rooftop office villas. A village suspended in the sky, hidden from the street-level gaze. In Juzhou, 25 villas sit atop a massive shopping mall, a reinforced anomaly of urban ambition. These structures were once branded illegal, a forbidden sprawl destined for demolition. Yet the decree shifted. Instead of being torn down, they were sanctioned as exclusive office spaces. We see a calculated rebranding of an illicit site. It is no longer a residence, but a private corporate fortress hovering above the masses. The question remains, why was this architectural crime suddenly legalized, and what happens behind those isolated sky-high walls? Number 6. The 736 IMES lying skyscraper. Behold the ship, Moscow's horizontal titan. This massive concrete monolith stretches nearly 800 meters, defying the vertical obsession of modern cities. It is so vast, it spans 3 separate bus stops along its reinforced base. Inside, the architecture dictates a grueling routine. Employees walk kilometers through repetitive corridors just to navigate their daily workspace. We see a structure designed to overwhelm, a relic of Soviet efficiency that treats humans as mere components in a machine. This is not just an office, but a psychological exercise in scale and endurance. Behind its impenetrable facade, the ship remains a labyrinth where distance is the ultimate barrier. Number 7. The post-industrial ruins of Charleroi. The industrial heart of Europe has stopped beating, leaving behind a rusted, reinforced skeleton. Charleroi, Belgium, once a titan of coal, is now the global capital of urban decay. A new phenomenon is rising: urbex tourism. Photographers and thrill-seekers infiltrate these forbidden ruins to document the aesthetic of systemic failure. We are observing the transformation of a dying city into a dark pilgrimage site. While officials remain silent on the rot, the city's abandoned factories have become a playground for those obsessed with the uncanny. We must ask, is this abandonment a failure of policy or a deliberate preservation of a post-industrial nightmare? Number 8. The balcony maze of Liu Hotel. Hospitality has been reduced to a factory line. At the Liu Hotel in Thailand, we witness the zenith of copy-paste architecture. This is not a sanctuary. It is a reinforced grid of modular cells, stripped of any cultural soul or human signature. Every floor and every room is a mirrored duplicate designed for mass consumption efficiency. This sterile uniformity represents the total erasure of personalization in global tourism. We are observing the commodification of rest, where the traveler is no longer a guest, but a data point in a prefabricated maze. One must wonder if these structures are built to welcome us or to process us like standardized cargo. Number 9. The Paris duplicature. Thousands of miles from France, a ghost awakens. Tianducheng is a reinforced replica of Paris, a manufactured landscape of hollow Haussmann facades and a scaled Eiffel Tower. The ghost city has now transformed into China's largest factory for wedding photography. It is a massive stage for simulated romance, where thousands perform for the lens every day. Yet beneath the white lace, an eerie artificiality remains. We are witnessing a life that does not exist, played out in a city designed as a mere prop. One must ask, is this a celebration of union or the ultimate triumph of the facade over reality? Number 10. Socialist, brutalist, teeth. The gray monoliths of Belgrade are waking up. These massive, reinforced structures of the Yugoslav era once served as concrete manifestations of a socialist utopia. Today, the brutalism that defined this skyline has triggered an unexpected resurgence. We are witnessing a silent invasion of Western youth, drawn to these eerie, block-like fortresses to decode the history of a fallen bloc. These are not just buildings, they are weathered fossils of a forgotten future. As outsiders infiltrate the Genex Tower and the Eastern City Gate, they seek a raw, unpolished reality that the modern world has sanitized. Belgrade remains a heavy, rhythmic pulse of stone, a defiant monument to an ideology that refused to be forgotten. Number 11. Vertical cage homes. Hong Kong's vertical horizon hides a grim biological experiment, the nano flat. These reinforced cells are living spaces smaller than a standard parking spot. We observe the compression of human existence into a few square meters of concrete. Efficiency has become a prison. Within these sky-high hives, the individual is reduced to a body in storage. This is the ultimate urban hell, a calculated squeeze where the price of space has exceeded human dignity. It is not architecture, it is containment. Number 12. The concrete labyrinth of Sanhe. In the shadows of China's industrial engine lies Sanhe, a zone of reinforced apathy. Here, the Sanhe gods have emerged, a brotherhood of youth who have hacked the urban grind. They work one day just to fund 3 days of stasis, surviving on the barest margins to escape the soul-crushing 9-to-9-6 system. We are witnessing a quiet, viral rebellion against the concrete machine. It is a state of living death, a calculated refusal to participate in a society that treats them as disposable parts. In Sanhe, the ultimate power is not wealth, but the absolute refusal to want more. Number 13. The canyon effect of New York City. The Manhattan skyline has mutated into a predator. Along Billionaire's Row, reinforced needles of glass and steel now cast permanent, cold shadows across Central Park. We are witnessing the literal privatization of the sun. What was once a public sanctuary is being systematically eclipsed by the vertical ego of the ultra-wealthy. This is not merely an architectural trend. It is a spatial blockade. As these massive pillars obstruct the horizon, they create a chilling divide, a world where light is a luxury reserved for the few, while the masses below dwell in a manufactured dusk. Number 14. The frozen ghost of Vorkuta. Deep within the Arctic Circle, a ghost city is being kept on artificial life support. Vorkuta, once a reinforced bastion of Soviet industry, has become a frozen graveyard where the state spends millions annually to heat empty air. This is a desperate battle against physics. If the steam stops, the pipes shatter instantly under the permafrost, causing total structural collapse. We are witnessing a massive, hollow landscape where warmth serves no human, only the preservation of a decaying grid. It is a city forced to breathe for no one, a heated shell in a land that demands its burial. Number 15. The gentrified steel hub. The rusted heart of Germany's industrial era has been transformed into a cold, cinematic labyrinth. Duisburg's Landschaftspark, once a massive fortress of steel and blast furnaces, now stands as a monument to aesthetic decay. We see these reinforced ruins repurposed as a global stage, providing the dystopian backdrop for Hollywood's grimmest visions, including the Hunger Games. This is the ultimate reclamation of industrial failure, where toxic landscapes are rebranded as cultural heritage. As cameras roll amidst the skeletal remains of the Ruhr Valley, we must ask, is this a genuine rebirth of history, or a strategic mask to aestheticize the terminal rot of a forgotten age? Number 16. The social wall. Brazil's favelas are vertical labyrinths, organic fortresses carved into the hills. We are witnessing a new intervention: social urbanism. Authorities are weaving cable cars and glass libraries directly into this reinforced chaos. The official goal is to bridge the social void. However, we see a deeper strategy. These high-altitude gondolas provide a permanent eye over alleys once hidden from the state. Is this an act of progress, or the installation of a strategic surveillance grid over a population that has long evaded control? Number 17. The inhuman Samara luxury. We have discovered a structural glitch in the Russian landscape. The Koshelev project in Samara is a reinforced labyrinth of absolute uniformity, earning its nickname, the Matrix. Thousands of identical low-rise blocks stretch toward the horizon, creating a visual loop that defies navigation. The repetition is so flawless that residents frequently suffer from spatial amnesia, accidentally entering the homes of strangers that mirror their own. We are observing the total erasure of the individual within this concrete grid. This is more than a housing solution. It is a psychological void where the concept of home is liquidated into a mass-produced nightmare. Number 18. Cairo's deserted expansion. The lungs of the Nile are failing. We are witnessing a massive exodus from the ancient, suffocating grid of Cairo toward the new administrative capital, NAC. This billion-dollar monolith, rising from the barren sands, is a reinforced attempt to isolate power from the chaos of the masses. It is a sterile expanse of white stone and high-tech surveillance, designed as a fortress of efficiency. We observe a deliberate abandonment of history in favor of a synthetic future. As the elite retreat into this desert stronghold, the old city is left to choke on its own density. This raises a chilling prospect. The NAC is not a new beginning, but a strategic life raft for those who can afford to leave the ruins behind. Number 19. The self-governing slum of Petare. Deep within Caracas, the state has lost its pulse. Petare is not merely a slum. It is a massive, reinforced organism functioning as an independent economic state. We are witnessing a complex self-governance where official law is replaced by a shadow code. In this vertical labyrinth, every alley operates under its own underground rules, regulating trade, security, and survival without government interference. It is an autonomous fortress, a city within a city thriving through its own brutal, secret efficiency. While the world sees chaos, We see a calculated, hidden system filling the void left by the state. Number 20. The floating mega-slum of Lagos. A brutal fracture is splitting the coast of Nigeria. On one side, Makoko, a massive, reinforced labyrinth of wood and silt floating on toxic waters. It is an organic urban hell where thousands dwell in a permanent state of precariousness. On the other, Echo Atlantic rises from the sea, a high-tech fortress of reclaimed land, protected by a great wall of Lagos. We are witnessing a radical spatial apartheid. This billion-dollar city is not meant for the masses, but as a reinforced sanctuary for the global elite, shielded from the rising tides and the chaos of the old city. It is a terrifying blueprint for the future, a world divided into those who drown and those who build islands to watch them. Number 21. The drowning tech hub. A high-tech facade is drowning in a colonial ghost. Hyderabad's high-tech city stands as a massive monument to the digital future, a reinforced grid of glass and silicon. Yet beneath this shiny exterior lies a lethal structural paradox, a crumbling drainage system from the British era. We are observing a total hydro collapse. Every monsoon, the ancient clogged veins beneath the soil fail, trapping thousands of engineers in a modern maze of stagnant water. This is the collision of two eras, a world-class tech hub floating on a decaying foundation that the state cannot replace. It is a calculated gamble where the future is constantly threatened by the buried negligence of the past. Number 22. Tetris, social isolation. The French dream dies at the edge of the ring road. Beyond the elegance of Paris lie the grands ensembles, massive reinforced concrete monoliths designed for total containment. We are observing an architectural segregation where high-rise grids act as barriers, not shelters. These sterile structures have mutated into islands of isolation, severing the bond between the periphery and the center. It is a calculated alienation. This spatial fracture fuels a growing unrest, as thousands remain trapped within a design that prioritizes density over dignity. These are not neighborhoods, they are structural experiments in social exclusion, where the gray walls have become the silent architects of resentment. Number 23, the highway ceiling. The concrete sails of Naples are collapsing by design. For decades, La Villa di Scampia stood as a reinforced monument to urban failure, a brutalist maze that became the ultimate fortress for organized crime. Now, the state is deploying heavy machinery to erase these iconic structures from the horizon. This is not just urban renewal, it is a calculated cleansing of a visual trauma. We are witnessing the systematic destruction of a symbol that exposed the government's inability to control its own soil. As the dust settles, the question remains: can tearing down walls truly dismantle the shadow networks born within them, or is this merely a cosmetic solution to a structural rot? Number 24. The 5D verticality of Chongqing. Chongqing is the world's first true 5D labyrinth. In this cyberpunk capital, geography has been shattered into reinforced layers of vertical chaos. We are seeing a structural anomaly where GPS becomes a useless relic, unable to navigate a city where roads weave through skyscrapers and rooftops serve as highways. This is a massive, disorienting grid where the ground is a mere illusion. We observe an urban machine that has outgrown human perception. One must wonder, is this progress or a calculated design to ensure that in the concrete fog of Chongqing, no one can truly be tracked or found? Number 25. The Desert Villa Mirage. The golden dunes of Dubai conceal a structural cage. Nad al-Sheba 3 is a desert enclave of reinforced isolation. We observe a sprawling grid of luxury, where the concept of the pedestrian has been systematically erased. There are no sidewalks, no public transit. This is a massive, deliberate design, forcing absolute dependency on the private machine. We are witnessing the ultimate privatization of movement. In this sterile loop, you do not walk, you are transported. It is a high-end containment zone where freedom of motion is restricted to those behind a steering wheel. One must wonder if this architecture is for convenience or a strategy to ensure that every movement within the grid is tracked by the registration of a vehicle. Number 26, plastic greenwashing. The desert has a new deception. Across Saudi Arabia's grids, we find forests that never breathe. These synthetic groves of steel and plastic mimic life, but offer a thermal trap. While officials promote greening, these reinforced canopies absorb radiation without the cooling power of transpiration, baking the streets below. This is greenwashing at its most extreme, a visual mask that exacerbates the urban heat island effect. We are witnessing a plastic ecosystem where aesthetics replace ecology, and even the shade is a lie. Number 27, the cemetery border. The ghosts of apartheid have been camouflaged in green. In South Africa, the landscape remains a weaponized grid. We are uncovering ecological buffer zones, massive strips of parkland and forest that appear as nature, but function as reinforced walls of exclusion. These are not sanctuaries for biodiversity. They are tactical voids designed to maintain a permanent distance between the ultra-wealthy and the impoverished. We see a systematic use of ecology to enforce social stagnation. This is green-tinted segregation, where the trees are the new guards of an invisible, unbreakable border. Number 28, the Kotokushi Apartments. Beneath the neon pulse of the world's most efficient city lies a structural failure, the permanent transient. In Tokyo, the capsule hotel and the internet cafe have evolved from temporary stops into long-term survival cells. We are witnessing the emergence of net cafe refugees, individuals squeezed out of the housing market into 1-by-2-meter booths. These reinforced plastic pods represent the ultimate shrinkage of human dignity. In this hyperdense grid, the home is no longer a building, but a rented cubicle equipped with a screen and a flickering light. This is the architecture of the invisible, a silent vertical colony of those who work to power the city, but can no longer afford to stand within it. Number 29, the debt castles of Shenyang. In the outskirts of Shenyang, the dream of Chinese royalty has collapsed into a structural irony. We are witnessing the decay of the state guest mansions, a forest of 250 European-style villas, once intended as reinforced monuments to the ultra-wealthy. Today, these marble halls and grand colonnades have been reclaimed by the earth. The most biting irony is the demographic shift. Local farmers have transformed these million-dollar skeletons into shelters for cattle and goats. We observe a reversal of progress where the plow has outlasted the blueprint. These are not homes, they are the world's most expensive stables, a silent testament to a credit-fueled fever that broke before it could ever be inhabited. It is the ultimate collision between rural necessity and urban hubris. Number 30, the smog wealth gap. New Delhi is suffocating. Beneath a toxic shroud, massive concrete monoliths have emerged. These are the smog towers. To the public, they are engineered lungs. To us, they are silent sentinels of a failing urban experiment. The Connaught Place Tower, a multi-million-dollar reinforced structure, stands as a testament to desperate engineering. Yet, data indicates these machines operate at negligible efficiency while the air remains lethal. We are witnessing the rise of placebo architecture, monuments of control built as the city chokes. Some suggest these towers serve localized functions, perhaps acting as nodes for environmental surveillance or data harvesting under the guise of public health. The massive investment continues, yet the truth remains buried in bureaucratic silence. Number 31. The sacrificial city, Magnitogorsk, the iron heart of the Urals. This massive steel fortress, born from Soviet ambition, is breathing fire once again. In the current strategic climate, environmental safeguards have been silenced to prioritize raw production. We are observing a lethal trade-off. The city suffocates under metallic dust, so the furnaces never cool. Hidden data suggests toxic levels are systematically ignored, transforming this reinforced zone into a production vacuum where human life is secondary. The iron output is surging, but the true ecological cost remains buried under state secrecy. This is a landscape where power is forged in the shadows of industrial decay. Number 32. The EU's Forgotten Ghetto. Ferentari, the concrete scar of Bucharest. Within this labyrinth of decay, a new experiment is unfolding. Organizations are deploying vibrant street art across these gray, reinforced corridors. They call it revitalization. We see it as a psychological layer applied to urban ruins. These murals are designed to alter the collective psyche of a forgotten population. Yet beneath the neon pigments, the structural rot persists. Data on real social mobility remains elusive, hidden behind a facade of artistic optimism. We are left to wonder if this is genuine healing or merely a colorful veil to mask the deepening shadows of Europe's most isolated slum. Number 33. Migrant urban villages. China's urban villages are not mere slums. They are high-density launch pads for the nation's migrant workforce. Deep within these concrete labyrinthine structures, rent remains the lowest in the metropolis. But this economic accessibility comes with a lethal hidden cost. We are observing a landscape of unreinforced density, where tangled electrical grids and narrow handshake buildings create massive fire hazards. Historical records suggest a systematic disregard for safety protocols to maintain this cheap labor reservoir. To the state, they are essential economic engines. To the inhabitants, they are tinderboxes waiting for a spark. The massive scale of these villages suggests a calculated sacrifice of safety for industrial output. Number 34. The coal-fired childhood. West Virginia's coal heartland is a landscape of fading giants. These massive reinforced plants are now battlegrounds for a silent war. The green energy transition pushed from distant capitals threatens to bury communities that have fueled the nation for generations. We witness a forced evolution, where thousands are sacrificed for a new environmental order. Data shows a staggering economic collapse as coal veins are sealed, leaving behind isolated ruins. This is an erasure of culture, hidden beneath rhetoric, while the Appalachian valleys grow cold. Number 35. The billionaire shadow over Dharavi. Dharavi, a sprawling hive of human grit in the heart of Mumbai. Now a $3 billion gamble led by the Adani Group threatens to erase this organic labyrinth. To the state, it is redevelopment. To us, it looks like a systematic erasure of an informal economy that generates billions. We are tracking a forced transformation where thousands fear their livelihoods will be buried under luxury glass and steel. Beneath the corporate promises, a community's identity is being dismantled. This isn't just a facelift, it's a hostile takeover of the urban soul. Number 36. Control grid architecture. Wuhan, a blueprint for the modern panopticon. These massive residential grids are masterpieces of spatial control. Every reinforced gate acts as a hidden checkpoint, designed to prioritize surveillance over spontaneous cultural exchange. We are witnessing the death of natural community. Replaced by a rigid architecture of obedience, it is an urban machine where management is absolute, and the individual is merely a data point in a controlled loop. Number 37. Slum erasure. Abidjan is burning from within. The Ivory Coast's green lung is being systematically replaced by massive, heat-absorbing concrete grids. We are watching a thermal trap expand as the urban canopy vanishes into dust. These reinforced structures create localized microclimates, intensifying an eerie, artificial heat. Is this merely rapid growth or a calculated erasure of natural refuge to ensure total urban dependency? The shade is gone, leaving only the relentless glare of an unforgiving, sun-baked labyrinth. Number 38. Defensive brick estates. The dream of homeownership in the UK and Ireland has mutated into a structural trap. Through the right-to-buy policy, the social safety net was systematically dismantled, sold off to the highest bidder. What remains are decaying, reinforced estates, monoliths of a forgotten era. We are observing the fallout, a massive depletion of affordable stock that forces the vulnerable into isolated concrete islands. These zones, once symbols of progress, have become liminal spaces of urban decay. Data reveals a calculated shift where public land is funneled into private hands, leaving the working class buried under rising costs and structural neglect. Number 39. Neo-Andean coles versus red brick. High above La Paz, El Alto is a vast desert of unplastered red brick, but a new power is carving its identity into the skyline. These are the cholets, vibrant, reinforced monoliths of Neo-Andean architecture. They stand in stark contrast to the surrounding industrial decay, signaling the rise of a defiant indigenous middle class. To the outsider, they are folk art. To us, they are fortified displays of cultural dominance. This is a visual rebellion, where saturated colors mask the shifting foundations of power in the world's highest metropolis. Number 40. The Graveyard of Dreams. Burj Al Babas is a ghostly battalion of 732 identical castles rotting in the Mudurnu Valley. This $200 million bankrupt ruin has become a hub for ruin tourism. We are witnessing an uncanny pilgrimage to this reinforced labyrinth, drawn by its eerie uniformity. No longer a resort, it is a sprawling liminal space, a graveyard of frozen capital. Some suspect a calculated tax evasion scheme. Others see a premonition of global economic collapse. Urban hell is more than brick and steel. It is the systematic theft of our natural habitat. We are witnessing the final containment of humanity within a concrete vacuum.